we put the word dementia on the screen, and then we ask individuals to come up with their first thought or feeling about the word when they hear it. And we hear words that aren't so nice, right? We hear crazy, demented, forgetful, scary, memory loss, lots of negative words.
We turn now to the devastating effects of COVID-19 on people suffering from Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Many live in U.S. nursing homes.
Of course, wardens say he has dementia here, and he's been missing for the last 16 hours. But as you can see,
in layman's terms, dementia is memory loss. But the more you read up about it, the scarier dementia gets.
So that's how you know how bad our vice president is, that she doesn't even look better than Dementia Joe. But at the end of the day, the American people...
And so when you hear or see or learn about something negative, do you tend to want to embrace that, or do you tend to want to get away from it?
Just in the United States alone, about 500,000 people are diagnosed with dementia each year. With that diagnosis can come stigma, a stigma that comes from parts of our culture that have been shaped by our media through news, TV shows, or movies, and different influences like the language people use when speaking about dementia. That the person living with dementia and their primary family caregiver can feel that stigma and pull away from the community.
They have kind of I don't know if it's a phobia about a disease that there's no cure for, or if it's they just don't know how to deal with it. I went to a birthday party for my oldest brother who turned 80, and one of their friends I was talking to and explaining some things about my husband's dementia, and she goes, "Oh, I think I got dementia because I go in the kitchen and I forget why I go in there." And I just thought, you don't have a clue. So I just kind of shut down, and I just zipped it up, and I figured, why even talk to people about my husband? I'm not gonna.
I do think that stigma comes in many forms, particularly, as it relates to dementia, but really, to other topics as well. But stigma is primarily, it's reinforced through what we see in the media, what you see in the news. So typically, if you look at coverage of people living with dementia, it's usually when someone goes missing, or they wander away, or they're lost, and we're trying to find them. You don't really see a lot of times where there's positive stories that are featuring, people living with dementia.
If we can take one person's story and share that story effectively, then it sort of extrapolates and it becomes a point of understanding for thousands of people watching at home and on social media and all the places that you'll see our stories. It becomes a story that everybody can relate to. And I think it does. People will have that moment where they go, oh, that's what so-and-so, my friend so-and-so is dealing with his mom or his grandmom or his sister. And so I think it's just important for us to show people, like, whether you know it or not, this is going on out there, and this is tough for a lot of people. And if 1% of the population all of a sudden is a little more sympathetic and empathetic, I think that's a win.
Dementia Friends is an organization that works to combat stigma by educating people in the community about what stigma really is. It is a global movement that is changing the way people think, act, and talk about dementia.
Dementia Friends is an international movement. It actually began in the United Kingdom, and it's in over 67 countries around the world. Typically, when you interview care partners, they often will feel isolated. They feel lonely, just as well as the person living with dementia, because people they kind of back off. Well, if you need me, call me. I hate that phrase. Just you call me, okay? I'm in a moment. I'm trying to take care of somebody, I'm providing help. I think the best thing that you can do is to not say, well, call me if you need me. Just call with the person, still engage with them. And that's how you fight stigma, is by constantly going back to the person, bringing them back into the community rather than letting them, distance themselves. So unfortunately, I do think that the care partner can feel just as isolated as the person living with dementia.
My name is Jennifer Hardy Williams.
Mrs. Hardy Williams has been taking care of her mother for the past 2 years. She understands what it means to feel isolated by the labors of caregiving.
It is very difficult. It is very exhausting. I feel very overwhelmed at times. and I feel like I don't have any help. So trying to work and take care of her, I feel like I'm working 2 full-time jobs at once. That's the difficult level for me. I really don't have no social life really, and if I do juggle anything, like if anybody's having something and I do try to attend, it would have to be after 8, when I'm finished dealing with my mother, when I'm totally exhausted. So really, it's basically, I might go for 2 hours and then I have to come home. That's about all I can do. I think you need support. And I think what's good that I don't take advantage of is like maybe a support group, because you need people who's experiencing the same thing so you can talk to, because then it doesn't feel like you're alone.
I think one of our favorite, well, at least my favorite thing is getting out there and almost kind of being validated by people that have gone through the experience of living with a loved one, partnering with a loved one, that, you know, they wish they would have known this before. And the things that we're saying is really affecting them. We'll see people have these aha moments, like, that's what was going on. Oh my gosh. So really seeing that people are benefiting from what we're out there doing.
I think for all the people that I've worked with, my family members who've lived with dementia, I think Stacy as well, you feel that you have a sense of responsibility to them to help to do better and to make it a better community and a better future for other people who are living with dementia.